Hello, good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, depending on where are you calling in from and joining us from. This is Magda. I am host of our Packhelp talks, and I'll be facilitating today's Ask Me Anything session, where we'll be asking questions and providing answers about shipping post Brexit. So I hope you have your questions ready. In case you come unprepared, we have a bunch of things prepared for you as well. But the point here is you have a very unique chance to ask your questions directly to two very unique experts we have invited for today's session. And let me welcome on our virtual stage first David from Byrd. Hi.
Hello, Magda.
Can you share a few words about yourself, what you're doing on a daily basis, and maybe a few words about a bird as well?
Sure. So first of all, thanks for having me and having us, Byrd. I'm actually tuning in from sunny Vienna. Lovely afternoon and lovely Thursday. And I'm working here as head of marketing. Byrd was actually founded in Vienna almost 5 years ago here in Vienna. We now have a network of 14 logistics warehouses in Europe. Actually now 15, most of them in the European Union, but also one in the United Kingdom. So we're experts when it comes to cross-border logistics, cross-border shipping for e-commerce merchants and scaling D2C brands. And yeah, so we're dealing a lot with different customers in Europe, but also actually customers coming from other parts of the world and that want to expand to Europe. And yeah, that's me. Looking forward to the discussion today.
Yeah, it seems like you have a lot of expertise to share on logistics and fulfillment. So it's very good to have you with us today. Thanks for joining. And we have one more expert, our very own Norbert from Packhelp. Hi, Norbert.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Magda. Thank you for the invitation.
Can you share a few words about what you're doing at Packhelp? Because I know that you're logistics experts, but people who are tuning in, they don't have to know that necessarily.
Yeah, right now I'm the logistics team leader in Packhelp, so I'm responsible for the whole logistics chain, including the stock movements, operations, carriers management, negotiations regarding the rates, and etc. So I can set up the different shipping methods and deliver cargo wherever the customer wants by using all kinds of shipping methods. And as well as I'm the team leader, so there is a lot of team management. Before I came to Packhelp, I've been working for one of the largest forwarding companies for many years. We scope on the logistics, insurance, cargo insurance products, risk management, quality processes, as well as the customer service. So by sitting for more than 10 years in logistics, I know the process from the customer perspective as well as from the production side. So it's better for me to find faster solutions or just better understanding what is going on because of I know the entire process. So, yep.
Wow.
Both sides, so, yeah.
I feel like the least experienced person here, but it's good. I'm here to ask questions from perspective of someone who doesn't know a thing. So I guess it's good that I don't bring too much of logistics expertise to a table. So yeah, let's start our today's discussion. We're 6 months after Brexit, and I'm sure both of you have learned a lot of things. I'm really looking forward to today's conversation. And it's clear that Brexit had a very direct impact on both our companies and our customers. And so let's start from the shipping and deliveries coming to the UK, because I think, yeah, why not? So what happens if a business orders something from outside the UK? Norbert, if you could walk us through the process, let's say?
Yeah, okay. We can go step by step, but so it depends on how your shipment will be packed, and if you are doing business as B2C or B2B, there are different ways to handle the order, which is shipped from European Union to United Kingdom. Before 2021, every shipment to UK might be transported without any supporting paperwork like commercial invoice, packing list, and etc. Since January 2021, by internal procedures of shipping companies, couriers, they are not able to even collect shipment if they don't see the commercial invoice stick to the package together. Or there is an alternative that the courier will see the special remark code on the label and he will know that, okay, there was an electronic version of the commercial invoice sent to the courier company. So at the beginning, courier might take your shipment on hold because there is no paperwork. And of course, this is a prevention against possible delays, which may cause because of lack of documentation during the customs clearance as well, especially in Poland or another European country, because we are still in export in origin country. But if the paperwork is fine, shipment will be cleared and departed will be cleared by the authorities and departed to United Kingdom. So after arrival, we have to make the same process about the customs clearance, but from the other side. So the importer will be asked by mostly it will be the same company who is responsible for the shipping. So the broker agent will ask you to sign the power of attorney. And this document will allow the brokerage agent to act on your behalf with the authorities and make your custom submission. So he will put all the data like commodity type, cargo value, what is the account calculated VAT, and etc. And he will also add your billing address. And then based on this, you have to pay the import fees. So before Brexit, you could just print a label, give a package to the courier, and 2 or 3 days later, shipment was in the UK customer. After changes, you must issue the commercial invoice, issue the packing lists, put everything together with the package. Make sure that your important have an EORI number because this may cause the delays. And after 6, 8, or sometimes 10 or more days, your shipment may arrive to UK. So it depends. If the documentation is fine, the transit time will be much shorter. If there is an issue about the ORI number or there is a missing documentation or some data, it will influence on the transit time. So
you mentioned
one more thing, because I lost about how it looks from the financial perspective, because some of customers are telling us that there was no payment, there was no fees before. Why now Packhelp is changing, for example, the invoices, or some of the companies are asking us to pay VAT or other fees. Because United Kingdom is no longer in European Union, there is no way to issue the commercial invoice by using the local VAT rate. So if, for example, our products were the value on the commercial invoice of our products, it was the net value. This is our product, and additional 23% of VAT. Now the VAT is 0%, so that's why the importer in UK is obliged to pay the import VAT directly to the customs authorities, because no one before arrival to United Kingdom just collect the VAT based on the standard, business rules, how the VAT is working in the environment. So from the finance perspective, the person who is dealing, for example, with Poland, he's gaining additional 3% because in UK he's paying 23% of VAT, but by using our local VAT, it was 23%. But if he's dealing with Germany, for example, where the around 19%, he's adding few pennies more to UK revenue and customs. So in some circumstances, you can gain something on the Brexit from the import fees, but in some cases, you see that you are paying more than before. For B2C sector, they lost a lot, I think, the business to customer area, because they are not obliged to recover, of course, to reclaim VAT, for example. They don't have any deferment number and etc. So they cannot postpone VAT. They must pay quite high additional fees from the courier companies, like commission and entry fee and etc. So it's better, of course, to be a B2B, because you can just reclaim your VAT to mitigate a loss on the import.
Yeah, that's for sure. I feel, Norbert, like you wanna say everything just answering one question, which just shows how passionate about the topic you are, and I'm loving it. But David, do you want to add something from your perspective? Maybe some of the biggest challenges your clients are facing?
Yeah, it's actually quite interesting, because it's similar to what Norbert just said. It's just a slightly different perspective. So we have customers that are shipping from our UK warehouse, and the problem that we saw and we still see is that they forget some small paperwork, and I think one of the biggest challenges is still the ERI number. So they forget to include the ERI number or to apply for it, and in the end, this leads to their supplies being stuck at the border, which leads to stock outs in our warehouse. And as a result, they cannot sell their product in their online shop, which of course is quite problematic. So we see a lot of delays here. And it's probably the same thing that you guys are experiencing with Packhelp. So it's very interesting to see how we have the same issue, but from different perspectives.
Yes, for sure. And yeah, you both are touching upon so many things that I want to ask about. So maybe let's get back to calculating all the import fees and taxes, because that was something Norbert mentioned earlier. And for a fact, I know a lot of customers are struggling because they have no clue how to calculate it when ordering a package for a certain value. They are simply lost. And for example, they are asking us to help in calculating that. So Norbert, what would you advise to customers who want to calculate these fees? How to do it? Is there a place they can go and check it, or how does it work?
Okay, we have two type of import fees. The constant fixed is VAT, of course. You have only two rates of VAT. The standard one, like 20% in United Kingdom, and 8% for pharmaceuticals. The rest of them, like duty, commission, some storage fees, and etc. This is the variable part of the import fees. It means the percentage rate of duty depends on the commodity transported. Luckily for Packhelp products, the duty is 0%, because this is the eco-friendly environment, safety, 0% duty product. So from China now, completely now. This is only for the European Union. The average UK tariff for European Union goods is pretty low, and it's about 2.7%. So most of UK importers may expect that for their products will be added 2.7% of duty. For rest of them, it might be 0%, or it could be pretty high. I don't know. If you are importing ammunition or some guns, probably the duty will be very, very high. But all other fees, like an entry fee and commission or brokerage fee, this is the part of handling provided by the brokerage agent, and this is the most problematic part, because we don't. There is no. I think we have all accepted the situation that some additional fees must be paid during import customs clearance, like the VAT, but because of additional work in the courier companies like UPS, DPD, or TNT, they hired a lot of people to handle all Brexit shipments. So the tariff, the level of additional fees of the service handling has increased in dramatic way. So the import VAT is paid on the total amount, determined on the total amount of the shipment. So you have to add the value of goods, insurance, transport, etc., and then multiply it by 20%. To check the duty, you should ask your vendor or supplier what is the commodity code to find out if for your product any duty apply. Packhelp is delivering this special commodity code. It means it's called like HS code. It is on every commercial invoice provided by Packhelp for the United Kingdom shipments. For the United Kingdom shipments, sorry, there is so many things about the UK, and there is so you need VAT, 20%. Duty varies, depends on the product. Entry fee depends on carrier's tariff and shipping method, because if you are shipping the package, the entry fee can be around between £2 or £5. If you are shipping the pallet, the cost is around £30 or £70, and this is only for the handling. The rest of charges, it's like the deferment charge, and it apply only if we are paying the import fees through the courier company. Because we don't have the deferment number, we cannot postpone the VAT based on the special guarantees provided by the customs. So the UPS, DPD, DB Schenker, or any other courier company will just pay on your behalf to the customs, but they will charge you for the commission by doing that. This is their margin for the service. Excluding, of course, the handling of the sending the submission. Yep, this is how it looks. So you can calculate the VAT based on because you know what is the standard charge. So you just add the value cargo and value of shipment and multiply it by. But if we are talking about the duties and other fees, it depends on the company which is used, not duty, but the other fees like handling and etc. It depends on the UPS, DPD, and etc. And the duty depends on the commodity. Sorry for mixing some things. I think after all, now it's clear, much better looks than at the beginning when I started my story.
No worries. I think there's a lot of it depends, and that at least from my perspective, that tells me that if you're running a business, you still have to be very careful. Like probably there is no automated way to do things. You just have to reinvent your processes and reinvent how you do things. One of the things that was also mentioned earlier is the mystical IORI number. And I remember when I was reading an article about Brexit and shipping for the first time, that was the one thing that stood out to me. I was like, how come I've never heard about this? Like, if it's so important, then why? David, you mentioned IORI earlier when talking about the cases of your customers. Can you demystify this term a little bit and tell us what it is and why companies should obtain that number, how it is used?
Sure. I mean, to keep it very simple, you can just say if you're moving goods as a company between the United Kingdom and the European Union, but also actually with other non-EU countries, you need this ERI number. If you're a business that is running in the UK, then you will need the ERI number starting with GB at the beginning. And this ensures that you can actually export and import goods, as Norbert also mentioned before. So this is actually the first thing you should do as a UK business if you want to sell or ship stuff abroad. Then you have to apply for that. I haven't done it in the past, but apparently it's quite easy. I think there are enough links online that you can find from the government UK side, I think, so that you can apply for it. And this is just one basic step that you have to take if you want to ship and sell stuff abroad or import goods. And so that's regarding the Iran number. And also adding to what Norbert said, the HS code is also quite important actually as a second step if you want to import or export goods, that you classify your goods with the corresponding HS code. So you have to look that up. It's kind of international identification of different goods and products. And this will help customs authorities to classify your goods and classify them accordingly. If you do not fulfill those requirements, then your deliveries will get stuck at the borders. You will have delays with your suppliers, with the deliveries in general. Can lead to stockouts, but also can lead to the effect that your customers are not satisfied because they're not getting their products as they expected, although they already ordered it. So yeah, that's it to sum it up and to keep it short.
Yeah, you're both mentioning delays. And I think we also all learned it the hard way that it takes longer now to ship goods to or outside the UK. So from both import and export perspective, what is causing these delays the most? Norbert?
I'm thinking about the question on the chat. Does this mean we will not using UPS anymore for the UK shippings? I think the UPS is not the trouble, but the logistics industry is in big trouble because of Brexit. Before 2021, especially during the second half of December, a lot of people just tried to ship everything to United Kingdom. As a result of this, we had a big traffic in the Eurotunnel between France and United Kingdom. Some courier companies like UPS and DPD has closed their services for a few days because of the situation. The UPS has rejected the land transportation by using Eurotunnel, and they had a possibility only. We had a possibility only to use the air shipments, and we lost 2 carriers responsible for the pallet shippings because the new regulations and carriers' availability, drivers' availability to ship anything to UK was much lower than before. So the capacity of warehouses versus volume collected, which was handled by the warehouses, was too big to keep everything on track and on time. But I think that the biggest troublemaker is I fully agree with that. This is missing EORI number and wrong or not enough information provided on the commercial invoice, or there is no signed power of attorney for the customs broker in United Kingdom to clear cargo as fast as it is possible. David said that we need a ORI number to move goods between the UK and European Union. It's a must. If you are importing something only for your private needs, I don't know, you are buying some couch, for example, to your home, you have to pay, of course, import VAT, but ORI number it will be probably not requested. But in any other cases, if you are just dealing the business, if you are just dealing with UK or European Union, you need the ORI number. No ORI number, there is a delay in the warehouse during customs, where the delay will increase the costs for storage, for example, because once the shipment will arrive to United Kingdom, most of carriers just giving 3 or maximum 5 days as a free of charge, and after that time, this is time for you to provide all necessary data to clear shipment and take cargo in delivery. Until after that time, you will be obliged to pay additional amount per every day, per every kilo of the shipment which was stored because of lack of information. So from my perspective, if we are doing shipments with parcels, the biggest issue is with our number because of type of customer, B2C. And if we are doing B2B, and this is a pallet delivery, the biggest issue is with the driver's ability to ship anything to United Kingdom under quite normal prices, because now everything is tripled or doubled. So yes.
David, is there anything you'd like to add beyond what we have already mentioned?
No, I think Norbert mentioned everything. I think to sum it up, there are two things. First of all, the increased demand based on the new processes, so that you have to go through all the paperwork now at the border, and the customs authorities have to check that. And then the second point is that there are still a lot of mistakes happening, so it takes more time. And I think this just adds up and leads to delays in delivery. And yeah, I think in general, we also saw that now actually, although we said, okay, we have this customs or trade-free agreement, everyone has introduced surcharges for Brexit shipments. Well, I think almost every logistics provider, because the process is just so much more complicated, requires more workforce, and it's not scalable at the moment. I think there's still a lot of automation that can be added to this process with artificial intelligence, hopefully one day, so that things can get a bit easier in the future.
Yeah, who knows, maybe some UK authorities are listening to this discussion panel, and you are now just inspiring them with these ideas. But speaking about authorities, I found quite a few interesting researches summing up how Brexit impacted goods export from UK to the EU. And just in January, it fell about 40%. And then in the first quarter, it was about 20 something percent. So this is really impacting how the businesses are operating worldwide, whether we realize it or not. And so, David, is there something that UK retailers that want to continue exporting to the EU should keep in mind beyond what we have said?
Yeah. So basically, in order to come to our expertise, when you're looking at e-commerce and what online shoppers want to have with regard to shipping, it is a lot about free delivery and fast shipping. And obviously, if you're a UK retailer now and you want to ship to EU customers, things are becoming more complicated, as we discussed now already in more detail. And this means that you cannot offer free delivery for a EU customer that is ordering goods worth 20 euros or so. And also the speed of the delivery is now way slower than before. So if a EU shopper is coming to your UK online shop and he or she will see the delivery costs and also the speed of the delivery, they might be switching to another provider within the EU in order to avoid those effects. So basically, you can say that actually this decreases the conversion rate in your online shop. So what we have seen now within the last months is that UK retailers were increasingly looking for warehouse solutions in the European Union so that they can basically get all the products from their suppliers or from the production side directly to a EU warehouse and ship to EU shoppers more efficiently by reducing delivery costs and the delivery delays. And especially in January, actually, because in December, there was still a lot of uncertainty regarding the Brexit deal. Then everything got signed and decided. And then in January, what we saw in our statistics is that really a lot of people were looking for a warehouse solution in the Netherlands and in Germany. And this has decreased now. So it seems like people now have their fulfillment set up and logistics set up for the post-Brexit era. But this clearly shows that especially the larger companies wanted to diversify the logistics setup so they can have one warehouse in the United Kingdom, one warehouse in the European Union to have the most efficient shipping process for their logistics and supply chain, but also with regard to the needs and requirements of online shoppers. So I think if you want to really succeed in the European Union, there's no other way around than setting up your logistics somewhere in Germany, France, maybe Poland, whatever, somewhere in the European Union, so that you can just provide better shipping conditions in general. That's what we have seen, as I said, and what I also think is crucial in order to be successful in the long run.
Definitely, that's something I haven't been thinking much about, how this also impacts the whole fulfillment and the supply chain of your business, and especially the products that can perish quickly. So a lot of interesting points, at least for me, representing here a perspective of someone who's not dealing with logistics on a daily basis. I would love to encourage our viewers to ask us any questions. We're slowly running towards the end of this panel discussion. So if you have any questions about specific careers, like the question we answered earlier, or maybe something else that is bothering you, this is the time to submit your question. I'm monitoring all the social media channels where we're streaming. So if you submit your comment, it will be seen. Now, to kind of wrap it up, I'd say, waiting for the questions that might or might not come, what are the key advices or the last thought you want people to leave this discussion with, like something you really want them to remember about, if that's sorry, I lost the thought, because apparently we haven't really replied to UPS a question, but I feel like we did. But let's try to answer it again. So Norbert, can you answer the question? I'll display it. And David, you have a time to prepare for your wrap up.
Okay, no, unfortunately not. We will use UPS, and UPS remain without any changes. Of course, we are working, but this is about the Polish production, European production, but we are working also on improvements directly in UK to speed up the deliveries. So I think we can be able to provide more details a little bit later. However, we saw the troubles. This is not that we are not glorifying any courier company. We see the troubles, and everything is monitored, and we are very close in cooperation with the UPS management, because right now they have a lot of troubles, of course, because of service. But it is the same in other places. We check that in 2 or 3 other companies. We ship some trial shipments, and we had a lot of troubles regarding the customs clearance processes, and transit times was much longer than the UPS. So if we will exclude some complaints caused by the delays, most of volume is departed and arrival within 3, max 6 working days from Poland to United Kingdom. Depends on the service. If it's land, of course, it will be longer. But no, right now the UPS is our primary carrier for the package delivery.
Right. Now I feel like we have answered that question for sure. So, David, I hope you've had a time to think about your final thoughts and wisdom you want to leave our audience with. So, over to you.
Yes, apply for ERI number. No, so I think in general you have to make sure to read the whole stuff in more depth if you haven't done so so far, because there's, as we discussed now for more than 30 minutes, there's so many complex requirements. So make sure you know what you need to do in order to be in a position to receive goods, but also to export goods to your customers. So ERI number, HS codes, other stuff that you might want to take into consideration, like the VAT and so on. Especially now, if you're shipping from UK to the EU, take into consideration that from July 1st on, there will be the one-stop shop. This will add more complexity to the whole topic, I think. So yeah, just be aware of the whole regulations, read about it, and then think about your customers and what is relevant to them, and then align your process accordingly. And if you I would strongly encourage UK retailers to actually do cross-border fulfillment, so to use one warehouse in the United Kingdom for UK shipments, and then one warehouse in the European Union for EU customers, because I think this can really improve your e-commerce performance in general. But if you don't do it, if you say, okay, no, I'll just stick to one warehouse in the United Kingdom for whatever reason, make sure to communicate expectations with your customers, that explain why you cannot offer free delivery, for example, why the delivery takes longer or might take longer than before. I think expectation management is always a good idea. And I think this would be my wrap up. Maybe one thing to add regarding returns. This is also quite interesting. I just, before the meeting, before the webinar, I asked internally how our UK customers are actually dealing with returns shipments from the EU to the UK. This is actually also quite complex. So the different setups that you can use in order to facilitate this process, to keep it short, is quite complex. And this is actually why our customers say either, we will use a cross-border fulfillment solution. So all the returns from the European Union will go to a warehouse in the European Union, and then you can ship it back as bulk delivery to the UK if needed, or resell it directly if possible. Or they really ask their customers to create those shipments, the return shipments, because it's just very complex. So I'd also strongly encourage everyone to look into this topic. And if you have high return rates, then it's probably yeah, it's very likely that it's worth setting up a warehouse in the European Union, because I think every online shopper knows that if you're sending back items, you would like to get the refund quite quickly, and you don't want to have any hassle included in the returns process. So make sure the returns process is hassle-free for the customers. If it's in your category in which you're operating, if it's a hot topic.
And over to Norbert, if there are some final thoughts and wisdom you want to leave this panel with, and people that are listening or will be watching this later.
Make sure that you have an hourly number. This is never-ending story, but yes, this is the prime. But I would like to suggest to follow by the guidelines provided by HMRC website. There is a lot of useful links and information how to set up a deferment account, how to postpone your VAT, how to register your EORI number, and how long it's gonna take. So. Based on the historical events, I think more of them, everything has started from the missing EORI number. So yeah, I would put it on the first place, and later on just check the Revenue and Customs website, followed by the guidelines, register deferred account, postpone your VAT to boost your economy, and then maybe we will survive till next year with the UK shipments. Yes, it's hard a bit right now, but we are trying.
Oops, sorry, I was muted for a second. I'm sure we'll survive. We just all have to go through the learning curve, like companies, our customers, carriers, authority and officials. It's a process, and I think we're all learning from it. Sometimes it's the hard way, and I'm really sorry for everyone that had to go through difficulties because of that. And yes, I guess my key takeaway from this discussion is don't take things for granted. Invest time in learning more about the processes and what is required from you. Before this panel, I've been doing my own research and going through different websites, and there is a lot of resources out there to actually learn about all the things that we have been discussing. And my last point would be, if you can't really find the help anywhere, you can always reach out to our customer support teams. I know they are going above and beyond to support our customers, and we're learning as we go. So whenever we can, we will help you. So don't hesitate to reach out to both Packhelp and Byrd's customer teams for support. And with that being said, I think we can close today's panel discussion. I've had a lot of fun. Yes, I've had fun talking about VAT and IRE numbers and things like that. So thank you so much for this. And yeah, until the next time. Bye, everyone.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.